When you're an entrepreneur, people like to use the phrase telling you that you're going places. And sometimes that is literal, in that you are actually going places. And by that, I mean that you are moving from one place to the next. Often that takes the shape and form of being in a vehicle of some sort, unless you're like a crazy marathon runner person, like me. But if you are in a vehicle, then there are ways to do that vehicular transportation that are more luxurious and awesome than others. But those methods are contained within secrets that I'm about to deliver to you today on this show, in this episode, as I talk to you through my microphone into your earbuds, hopefully AirPod Pros, and deliver this information so that you can travel like a winner. Hit it, James.
The Brad Johnson Show.
I'm turning losers like you into winners like me.
You're about to enter the winning zone.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the Brad Johnson Show. We are cruising right along through Season 3. I can't believe how close we're getting to the end of Season 3. Thanks for sticking with us and just enjoying this entrepreneurial gold that I just pour out into your life every episode. And today, James, we're talking travel hacks. And if you've ever flown commercial, you know how important stuff like this is.
Definitely. And even though your life goal should be to never have to fly commercial again, that's not a realistic goal for a lot of people. So that's why these are so important to know.
Yeah. And yeah, speaking of flying commercial, I can't, now that I have my private jet, it didn't take me long to get it. A lot of people work up to that, and that's kind of like a major life goal, way out there. Didn't take very long for me, but most people aren't like that. So yeah, just that having these hacks in your back pocket so that when you have to do some kind of travel, which happens on occasion, you have to pull these out and actually travel in luxury mode, which is so much better than not traveling in luxury mode.
Definitely. And I did have a little bit of an experience with this recently when I flew over to Houston for my position with the ranch out there. And it really was not a great experience. And it definitely made me appreciate having access to that private jet.
Yeah, well, that's not surprising. I mean, given what you were actually doing, leaving your actual job and trying to help a competitor, that was.
Well, I feel like
it shouldn't be surprising.
Kind of made up for that. I mean, I've washed all the cars in your garage. I took the golf carts to be serviced. I refinished the deck, the back deck on the mansion. I mean, I've done a lot of these acts of kindness just to try and kind of make up for that. So,
well, I feel like James, I'm not angry about it. I'm a bigger person than that. I mean, yeah, you totally stabbed me in the back and went behind my back and then stabbed it. It was all kinds of stabbing going on. But I'm cool about it, man. I mean, that's completely just water under the fridge, and it's not a big deal anymore. Okay, I'm not making a big deal out of it. I don't know why you are.
Well, I guess that's good to know. I never meant to be stabbing anything, especially your back. And I don't want to stab your front either now that I'm back.
Well, that's good to know. All right, so let's just jump right into these travel hacks. We got quite the list. So I thought what we do is, as a private jet owner, I've got my own set of travel hacks, and then you, James, as more of the common man, you've got your own set of travel hacks. So I thought we'd just kind of go back and forth and just kind of compare how awesome my travel hacks are compared to, the otherness of other kinds of travel hacks.
Yeah, that's a great idea. I think it's a good idea to take a few perspectives into account when you're traveling and just finding what works for you, and then disregarding it and doing travel the right way.
Exactly. All right. So people, if you take these travel hacks and actually employ them, the Brad Johnson Show holds no responsibility for what may or may not happen. Let me just note, results are not typical. If you don't have my kind of suave charm and dashing good looks, chances are these aren't going to work quite as well for you, but the basic principles could, but I'm not saying they're going to. That's not a guarantee, but it's also not not a guarantee. So just do it at your own risk, but also do it at your own risk of reward. Okay, that's what I'm really saying. So let us just start off with number one. And James, I think we got to start with the suitcases.
Yes, suitcases are such an essential aspect of travel, and so many people just get it completely wrong.
Yeah. So my travel hack on the suitcase side of things is skip it. Okay. I for a while there, I was doing the really fancy ones, with a battery, and it actually had a built-in television set on the outside. It was really cool. It also had you could put your feet inside the suitcase, and it had a massager in there. It was really awesome. But it kept the screen kept tracking, as it was getting put through luggage and stuff like that. There was all kinds of issues with the battery and stuff like that. So finally, the travel hack that I've come around to is all I do is get the address of wherever I am going. And then at that point, I just have one of my VAs go ahead and order me a new wardrobe of clothes that I will be needing while I'm there. And then, boom, they're delivered there. And I pay one of the other VAs to show up before me, and they pull all the stuff. They unpack it out of the packages. They iron it, steam it, wash it, launder it, and then steam it and iron it again, and then hang it up for me. So when I get to the place, boom, I don't even have to unpack.
Wow, that is an amazing approach. I've never heard anybody else do that before.
It's next level. Let me tell you. It does, get a little expensive, especially when you're going Coach and Versace and Gucci and all that sort of thing. But it's totally worth it. I mean,
definitely.
When you look like a baller, people expect you to actually have spent the money on the clothes. And believe me, I do.
Definitely. And for some people, obviously that's going to be a little out of their price range. So I would say for those people that don't have the money and they can't afford to buy a new wardrobe every time they travel, my life hack for traveling is to buy the most generic black suitcase that you can find, because you don't want your suitcase to stand out. Okay. I know how aggressive the luggage handlers can be. If they see a really nice, colorful suitcase, they're going to drop it and they're going to throw it. They just, for some reason, they have that desire. And so if your suitcase is black, it's easier to find, for one thing, and it won't get thrown around because it's not as much of a target. The other thing is, if you leave it unattended, nobody's going to even notice it or even care or call security or anything because it's so generic and boring looking.
Yeah, I mean, that makes sense. That definitely makes sense for people on your level there as far as the travel hacks go. Man, I did just want to mention the one of the downsides of getting your stuff shipped ahead of time is when we're in kind of a national incident here with the whole people being worried about traveling and stuff like that, and South by Southwest getting canceled. I've got a hotel room that's full of some awesome clothes. I had such an awesome setup for my wardrobe for South by Southwest. I really went all out, and it's all just kind of sitting in that hotel room right now, as far as I know. And I'm gonna miss out on it. So that is one downside, I will say, of my travel hack there.
That is unfortunate for sure.
Unfortunate, especially since I was going to be. It was kind of a surprise keynote that I was going to do at the South by Southwest. It was really going to rock the house, but unfortunately, the world won't get to see that.
That is a true tragedy.
Maybe what I should do is record what the keynote I was going to get and make that a bonus episode on the podcast.
That's a great idea. Yeah. Don't let people miss out on that.
Siri, make a reminder. All right, so that is when it comes to suitcases. That's all about packing. So you got my take and James's take. So now let's talk about airport lounges, because this is, the reason they built airport lounges is because people didn't want to actually get somewhere and then just travel. I mean, that's just such a letdown. You want to build up the anticipation. So they built these airport lounges so you could actually come to a place and then wait some more. And that is really, I think, what people want in their travel experience.
Oh, yeah. It definitely, as they say, the experience of traveling. It's all about the journey. The destination is nice as well, but your progress in getting there is almost just as important. And so having access to one of those lounges is one of the best ways to maximize your time on the trip, because I mean, you deserve luxury at every step of the way as you're traveling.
Yeah, and you need to demand it as well. I find that that's just a really effective trick right there, is just to actually demand. And I mean that literally, like just go up and demand something. And often, I mean, you'll be surprised how far that'll get you. So yeah, and just to note, I'm talking now, as we're talking about airport lounges, about like when I'm not flying on my private jet. And, sometimes I don't, just to kind of keep my pulse on the masses of people out there. And I find, flying first class can really help me do that, keep a pulse on what's really going on out there.
Definitely. Yeah, that's a great way to do it. And another thing, this is my hack for traveling with those lounges, is the best part about that is whenever you gain access to those lounges, you automatically become a prime customer of that airline. They normally just give the base amount of service they can to everyone except for people who have access to those lounges. So basically, you become a VIP no matter what lounge you're at, and you will be treated with the utmost respect in those lounges, and it's an incredible experience. They really make you feel like royalty.
Yeah, totally. So, yeah, definitely, make sure that you get the non-smoking one, because, I mean, that stuff will kill you. All right. So, once you get to the lounge, then you're actually getting boarding, or you are boarding onto the airplane. Now, when you're doing that, something to keep in mind is that, if you have a peanut allergy, you get priority boarding. Now, people ask me all the time, well, Brad, I don't have a peanut allergy. And also, why does that matter? It matters, first of all, because if you have a peanut allergy, you can tell the people up at the desk that, and then you can get onto the plane and, pretend like you're wiping stuff down, because if you were allergic to peanuts. So people then ask me, well, Brad, I don't have a peanut allergy. That's not really very helpful. And I say, I think people are allergic to things that are they know are bad for them. Like, I feel like I am so allergic to processed sugar right now, even though I'm not. Mm-hmm. Okay, see what I'm saying?
Exactly. Yeah, and the thing is, if you don't have a peanut allergy, you can fake it. What are they going to do? Question you and like throw peanuts at you to see if you're telling the truth? Of course not. They have to take your word for it. So you're automatically safe.
That did happen to me one time. I had someone throw some peanuts. Thankfully, got some salt in my eye, and that was, kind of led to one thing and the next. So it turned out all right. But I would most of the time, yeah, you're going to be pretty safe with that. But even if you don't want to fake it, like, just go get one. Like, I don't think it's really that hard to just have a peanut allergy.
Definitely.
So that will get you on the plane first every time. And then it will also get you off the plane first, because if you just tell one of the stewardesses, you're just like, hey, I've got a peanut allergy. If somebody walks by me who's had peanuts on this plane, like, I'm going to die. And so then they'll be, okay, well, we'll get you off the plane first. And boom, boom. You're on the plane first. You're off the plane first.
Yeah, exactly. And the other thing is, if you tell them that midway through the flight, they'll speed up the plane. They'll fly faster, and so you'll get to your destination more quickly.
Yeah, so all kinds of travel hacks right there for getting on the plane. Boom, there you go. You're welcome. All right, so let's talk about this always comes up, and I wouldn't know a whole lot about this, because being in first class, they usually spread out the seats enough where you don't have to worry about it. But if you weren't in first class, you actually had to sit next to someone. Just the armrest wars, I think, is the term they use for it.
Right. And I think one of the best hacks I can give for that is only fly with airlines that allow you to reserve the armrest. Some airlines have, you can get a seat upgrade, you can get different, requirements of what is available at your seat. And the one thing you want to look for is that armrest allowance. So basically, you can just pay an extra $150 and you automatically can reserve one of the armrests. So you can get 2 for $300. So that just guarantees maximum comfort. And if the other person starts to, it's a really good deal. And if the other person starts to use your armrest, you can immediately call the stewardess over and they will have the person ejected from the plane.
Nice. That's great. So is it the stewardess that comes over? Or is it the air marshal? I thought it was more the air marshal that would deal with the person.
It depends. If the person is being aggressive and is beginning to try and become trying to fight you or something, or if they start hitting you or something, then they will call the air marshal in.
Nice. Love them air marshals doing their job of protecting the skies and protecting our armrests. That's so important. So important.
Yeah, you have to afford yourself those little luxuries while you're traveling, for sure. Well, there we have it, guys. That is the first half of our 2-part series on travel hacks for the entrepreneur in your life, which could also be you. So if you want to hear more of these life hacks and travel hacks, just tune in next week and we'll have the second half available for you. And you can learn everything you need to know about how to travel in ultimate comfort and leisure. And so there you have it. And if you join us next week, we'll finish that up with great content as always here on The Brad Johnson Show. Thanks for listening. See you next time.
You've just listened to an episode of awesomeness. Now, go out and spread the awesomeness and help others fix the mess that is their life and help them stop being a loser and start winning in business, health, and their personal life by getting them to listen to The Brad Johnson Show. Book your face, tweet your tweets, and Insta your grams at Brad Johnson Show. The Brad Johnson Show. Winners only.